The most anticipated earnings releases for the week of July 8, 2024. Presented by earningswhispers. The quarter has ended and the holiday is behind us, so now second quarter earnings season is upon us. This will include names like Pepsi and Delta, whose quarter just closed in June, but really, it all starts with the banks on Friday. It also includes Methode Electronics, which reports in July for the first time since 2010. Coincidentally enough, the stock is back down to its 2010 level as well, after falling from $50 just over a year ago. Monday just has Greenbrier, which reports before the open. The chart isn't exactly strong after trading to a high after earnings last quarter. Yet, the trends remain positive, and that's the expectation going into earnings, while overall sentiment is basically neutral. There aren't a lot more reporting on Tuesday. Of the three, investors are most interested in SGH, aka Smart Global. The company is reporting a little later than usual, which is often a red flag, but the stock has made it back to where it gapped to last quarter, which isn't exactly bearish. Either way, that gap hasn't been filled yet, and there is more than one gap at the same level on this chart. The trade is likely in the direction away from this level. Before that on Tuesday, Burner reports. The company has its social media issues from 2023 behind it, and has shown it doesn't need Facebook and the likes, after all. However, if this is the true growth story it appears to be, and in stage 2, it needs to prove itself here at the $10 level. Things pick up on Wednesday, with WD-40 topping the list. There isn't a lot of coverage on the stock, but the company has often been viewed as an indicator for the economy. The stock made a convincing reversal after missing last quarter, and with sentiment remaining high, the stock remains vulnerable. It is interesting to us that PriceSmart is second among investors' focus on Wednesday, because it typically doesn't even make our list. Of course, it isn't as simple as this sounds. But the stock has basically been flat on the year, but earnings have moved higher after the company's last earnings release. It wasn't enough for the stock to break out, but another positive result could provide the fundamental support for the stock to continue higher. We all think of earnings season beginning on Friday, but Thursday shouldn't be ignored. PepsiCo is what investors are eyeing the most, and sentiment has dropped significantly, and even though sentiment isn't as low as it was when the stock bottomed last fall, short interest has increased to multi-year highs. The Magnificent Seven have been the leaders of the market, but technology and the semiconductors have also outperformed, and everything else has lagged. The staples have significantly underperformed during the quarter, so Pepsi might be more important than usual. Delta has also underperformed, but airline trends have been strong. Oil prices also haven't been so bad, so the wind is at their backs. Get it? But Delta hasn't been able to hold above $50, which seems important. Of course, the beginning of earnings season is all about the banks, and the financials will dominate the reporting period over the next couple of weeks. As of now, 23 financial companies are scheduled to report earnings next week, which is the majority of the S&P 500 companies set to report. That means those reporting on Friday will tell us a lot about what to expect next week. None matter more than JPMorgan, which has gone through a long stretch of outperforming its peers and appears rather expensive compared to other banks. But it reached a new high going into earnings, and that isn't bearish. It also isn't bearish for Wells Fargo, which isn't likely to tell us anything different, but yet it hasn't made it to a new high. And in fact, it is just now retesting its 2022 highs, which means a move higher from here could signal a long-term breakout. While earnings season begins this week, it isn't a busy week, and there aren't a lot of standouts for expected moves. Yet, as we look out into the full calendar, we have most of earnings season showing, with the exception of key names like Microsoft, AMD, Alphabet, Apple, Amazon, and so on. They will let us know in the next week or so when they will report. Shh.